Hey, our group is here at the Elk Valley Preserve to help get rid of invasive species. My name is Kevin.
I'm Bo.
I'm Nicole. I'm Sydney. And I'm Gracie.
And before we go on this lovely hike to get rid of these invasive species, specifically, we're going to focus on 3.
Japanese knotweed.
Multiflora rose.
And oriental bittersweet.
So before we go out, we got to come here and grab some tools. First, safety, so gloves. This way our hands don't get blisters or splinters or any of that. Second, shovel. Get rid of some of the dirt, help clean out the roots. Last but not least, sheaves, just to cut them off and finish the job.
This is Multiflora rose, part of the Rosaceae family, which is all the other roses that we know and love, but they also have spikes, so not as fun. These are, however, invasive. They came from Japan in the mid to late 1800s, and they were brought over as an ornamental plant before anyone realized the harm they would cause to the ecosystems around here. They can grow up to 15 feet tall, and they also sometimes act as a vine, which means they can climb even taller. And the easiest way to identify them would be by the red berries here, also known as hips, because they're part of the Rosaceae family. They are referred to as hips. They are red and they grow in the summertime, and they usually stay throughout the winter. They may turn black in the winter, but usually they withstand their red color. The leaves have like a red tint around the edges, especially when they're young, so that's another easy identifier. And of course, the thorns. But it is invasive, and the most harm it causes typically is in actually fields and pastures, not really in wooded area like this, although it does appear here. In the wooded area, in the plains and pastures and stuff, it can disrupt cattle grazing and can disrupt, it can hurt the animals too with the thorns. So, but otherwise it'll grow in places like these, in forests, and they'll climb up trees and essentially suffocate them. They'll keep the plants from growing properly. They'll harm biodiversity by taking up all the land space and not letting any other kind of plants grow. So that's why we spent some time today removing it.
I don't know. I don't know why the plant is in pieces, so that I'm just setting myself up for failure by not wearing gloves.
Just created tiny pieces. But yeah, the main characteristics are these red berries. They have the black dots on the end. Those are a good start for spotting. And of course, the thorns. The thorns are also a very good indicator. They'll often have this green color. Of course, during the winter it starts to fade and turns brown, but the berries do stay throughout the whole winter, so they'll be a pretty good indicator overall. Yeah, see, that's why we're gonna want to cut it into tiny pieces.
Damn, I was just gonna go like all in.
We want to cut it into tiny pieces and then get the base. You can cut the base, but we're gonna just have to cut it into pieces so it'll fit in the bag and everything. It's all tangled up in the ground too.
That's all I was gonna put it at. Yeah, I'm already. We could go in like super depth about it in the voiceovers. Those are really red.
Do you have thorns on them?
Don't dance anymore.
Alright, chuck him.
Yeah, there's berries all over the top of this plant. It has been completely taken over. And the leaves, it's hard to tell right now because they're all dead. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one, but it is suffocating. It's definitely not thriving. These little things, these little guys all over the ground, everywhere you step. They're called Galax. You can tell by the heart shape, and of course just the fact they're on the ground. Pretty interesting.
So, the scientific name for Japanese knotweed is Philopia japonica, I believe. They are native to northeastern Asia, and they were originally introduced in the U.S. in the late 1800s, and they were used as ornamental plants. But then they were later spread out by being used as erosion control anchors because of their big, ginormous, thick roots, as we can see from this one. So yeah. So this is Japanese knotweed. It's normally like a bright green, just like bamboo, but it's a little out of season. The easiest way to tell it apart is the stem has these little ridges, and it almost looks like bamboo. That's why part of its common name is Mexican bamboo. If it still had its leaves, it would be like a giant oval shape with the points at the end of it. But these guys are probably one of the easiest to identify, just because they don't look like they belong here. So.
Okay. So these leaves look pretty similar, but obviously these ones are rounded near the tops of the lobes and these ones are spiked. So these are both actually oak trees. This one is a white oak, this one's a red oak, and you can tell by whether they're pointed or not. And yeah, it's pretty lucky to find two of them right next to each other. So these guys, the majority of these here, these are ferns, specifically called Christmas ferns, because if you look at the individual leaves, they kind of look like a Christmas stocking. That is legit why it got its name, because it has the boot shape. So Christmas ferns, who doesn't love them?
Another invasive species plant we wanted to find was the Oriental bittersweet. Sadly, though, we had no luck finding it due to it being so close to winter and because it is more common deeper into the woods. But I would still like to inform you about them. Oriental bittersweet was introduced in the 1860s from East Asia and is a climbing vine that can grow up to 60 feet in length and can reach the same height as whatever vegetation it's climbing. Oriental bittersweet chokes out native plants by covering them in dense foliage and strangling stems and the tree trunks. The only way to remove these plants is by removing the root system, which can end up being very challenging.
Up here. Oh, you know what it is? With the spikes. It's a buckthorn. Anyway. That's what it was. It was a chestnut oak. I knew it was some kind of oak. These are the leaves I saw out there that I almost identified, and then I was like, I don't know about that actually. Red maple. Sugar maple. You can see, if you look at the lobes, the very base of the lobes, these are in like a U shape and these are in like a V. So that's probably the easiest way to tell them apart, either the U or the V. And of course these have more spikes. These have larger spikes, but these have more.
Okay, I hope you learned as much as I did, sharing their information with me, because I didn't know about all these invasive plants and how dangerous they are to the home plant. And I hope you saw how we got rid of them. And yeah, that's really important. And now we're gonna donate the compost. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot, because I did. They told me a lot about the knowledge of my...
Your mom.
Oh my god.
You're so right.
Don't text and drive, friends.